Hey, this is Stacy with the Soul Pod. Welcome back. I'm driving back from Oregon today to my home in Northern California, and I stopped to take a walk in the woods. I thought I'd share it with you. I've been going through some grief this week, and I wanted to talk to anyone who's struggling with that right now. I was reminded of some important lessons that I had forgotten. Thank goodness we don't have to think about grief all the time, but when it happens, it's one of those things that if we've got our skills in place, we handle it much better. A. Milne, the writer of Winnie the Pooh, wrote, "How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard." If you're struggling right now, if you're suffering, if you're going through grief from that loss, it's because you're so blessed that you have something that makes saying goodbye that hard. And there's some important things to remember right now in this moment. When you're hurting, the most important thing is this: grieve, grieve, cry your face off. Get on the floor if it takes you there. If it takes you to your knees, go to your knees. Cry. Allow the hurt to flow through you. It's a testament to the love you feel for the thing, the person, whatever the beauty is that left you feeling empty now. That thing that was once a piece of you that's not here now, that you miss so much. Grieve it. Grieve it. Honor it in your grief. Allow yourself to just be taken by the grief. Whatever you do, do not hold it in. Do not fight it. Do not stuff it down and be tough, or for whatever reason decide that you can't grieve right now. Forget about what the world might think of your pain. It's your pain. It's your sadness. It's your loss. And you have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Be there with it. There are many grief models that have been written over the years. We've all heard about the multiple stages of grief, 5 stages, 4 stages. There are all these different models, and in multiple different languages and different philosophies, and theology talks about it, psychology talks about it. It's something that's universal among all of us. We all hurt sometimes, but not one of those models leaves out the important step of just letting it overtake you, letting the hurt be real inside of yourself, and taking the time to honor that loss, that pain, that sadness. Cry, cry, be with it. Because if you don't get to the following stages where you can look back, and that thing that's now creating tears becomes something that brings beautiful thoughts and memories and warm spaces in your heart. You got to get to the grief to get there. Grief itself is the medicine. That's the message. Remember, the grief is the medicine. Go there. If you stuff it, if you hold it back, if you shove it down, if you repress it, it's going to stay there and it's going to creep in on you, and it's going to make your days darker. It's going to make it harder to appreciate things. But if you fall into it, you let it take you out, let it drop you to the ground, you'll burn it off. And then what remains? What remains will be moments where you remember that thing you lost, that someone you lost, that something you lost. And that's the gift. That's the gift afterward that you give yourself. That now the thing that makes you sad in this moment becomes the thing that brings you joy in later moments when you think about her or him or it. When you think about the loss, it becomes beauty instead of pain. Grief is a gift. And until we grieve, we can't get the full benefit of all the rest of the gifts in this life. And this life is full of gifts. It is full of gifts, chock full of gifts. But when we repress those things, we push them down, we hold them back. They put a curtain in front of our eyes so we can't see the beautiful gifts of life the way we normally would. Everything's a bit darker as we push through, carrying that behind us. It's like boulders in your backpack that must be removed for you to be able to walk lightly again. So you got to remove those boulders by crying. Let it take you. You have permission from the universe. Doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Doesn't matter what you think. It's going to take you. And then you can embrace the gifts of life. What are the gifts of life? The gifts of life are all around us. I'm here by this beautiful river. I just walked by a waterfall, and it was just spectacular. And in those moments, my loss this week was my dear dog Skittles. These are the walks I'd go on with her, and I got teared up every now and then because I think of how much she would have liked this. And you know what? She's here with me. She's here with me. That's a happy sound to me. She'd want me to be happy, and I think so would that loss that you're feeling. Whoever that was wouldn't want you to be sad, but you got to go through the sadness to get to the happy. So go straight through it, right into the eye of that hurricane. And then you can appreciate the gifts. And the gifts are everywhere. This view, this beautiful place, the sun on your face. You'll be able to appreciate that more once you cry. Give yourself a gift today. Be with the grief. Then you can move on. I know how much this sucks. The downsides like this, the painful moments in life, are what punctuate the beautiful moments. You got to get through the painful stuff to get to the good stuff. Thanks for listening. You got this.